Alright, so we have our Iron Grand finalists here, Maeve versus Mr. T-Spin, and it's kind of funny because these were the players that were given like not the bottom seed specifically, like the bottom two seeds, the next two, near two bottom seeds here, and now they're facing off in the grand finals of not bronze, iron bracket here. Amazing six chain from Maeve to open up the show. Unfortunately, Mr. T-Spin's six chain was just two links powerful, and it gave him that first point. And Mr. T-Spin is coming from losers finals, so if he wins, then Maeve will have to rematch him to take on the ultimate title of the bronze bracket champion here. But of course, each player is a champion of their own and probably should not be underestimated for future events. Mr. T-Spin going for a GTR. The GTR has been covered by the red, so not sure how he's going to be able to fix this here. Maybe he can use the yellows to kind of attack here to make it power for 3, but it opts to do two back-to-back two chains here. A two-ception, if you will, giving him a stronger lead into this grand final set, 2-0, and this is actually a first to 10, so Maeve will have to win this, and if not, then they will have to actually rematch him for the championship title here. So anything could happen here, and these players actually did face off in the Group A round robin, so they are probably more than well acquainted of each other's skill level here, and should be an interesting match all overall, especially with those first two matches being as close as they were. Maeve going for a pretty tricky transition here, but should outpower Mr. T-Spin's 7 here if all the cards are right, especially with the groups of 5 coming in. The 8 chain will do it for Maeve and give him his first match in this point. Sorry, first point in this match. Very nice. On to the next round. Both players on the board for now. Looking like an all-clear opportunity for them, but unfortunately none of them did get it. But I think the fourth color being introduced there might have shut it down. Maeve more likely to get it than Mr. T-Spin in that case. But Mr. T-Spin will open the show with the 1 chain. Maeve does have the resources to give him a 2 chain right back and send it back to their sender. Mr. T-Spin decided to not use the yellow that he needed for his transition and just put it over there to the left there. Gonna put a questionable decision from him. But he is going to need another yellow over there in column 1 if he wants to actually get his chain. Didn't do it. Set off his chain, and it's eating the consequences right now as he forgot a critical piece of their GTR there. You don't want to get too caught in your transition if you don't have your GTR already complete. So T-Spin's going to have to watch out for that because now he's tied with Maeve here, who he needs to win off of twice if he wants to have a chance of winning this bracket. And if not, second place is perfectly fine as well. But regardless here, some LLR action here from Mr. T-Spin. I almost called it Larry Lur, but that is not the name of the form. But that is LLR. Often used as like a mistake if a player makes a mistake in their GTR. So it is a good recovery chain for that. But that is a neat cut from Mr. T-Spin to throw Maeve off course. So Maeve is going to have to do a little bit of digging here. And Mr. T-Spin will be able to get this point if he just matches those 2 blues down there. Seems to be hesitating here. Or extending. Yep, that is extension. Power 5 for Mr. T-Spin here. But Maeve will be able to get to that X here, giving Mr. T-Spin another lead into this bracket. So very nice. I wonder if we'll see a 10 chain from one of these players, because they do both seem to be, have like a decent knowledge of chaining itself. They just need to get their heads in the game as far as like getting transitions done. Of Mr. T-Spin's case rather. Could be what could have a potential attack here from Maeve here. Is struggling to get the rest of his pieces together, but seems to have solved it. Might need some reds in column 5 so that way those reds tail at the end, but opts to go without them. That cut from his T-Spin is going to be Death League, however. getting Maeve yet another point on the board for himself in this matchup, tying it up 3-3 in the first of 10. And we still have plenty more where that came from. Looks like Mr.T-Spin opted to misdrop his not T-Spin setup. What was it's called? His GTR. So he's gonna have to play a little bit of revise and edit here. That's perking them English players. And Maeve over here. Some a bit throwing away action here on their board, but regardless, still a pretty solid chain overall. Might want to clean up those yellows, and could potentially use the purples over there to slow down Mr. T-Spin over here. But opts to do a main chain itself. Not a bad call, especially when Mr. T-Spin's really far away and missing a lot of pieces and resources over there. Really dangerous world that Mr. T-Spin's living in right now, as he's taking the fall, even made a point into the board, bringing it back to 4-3 in Maeve's favor. Okay, Mr. T-Spin has the double yellows to keep himself safe, but opts to not use them. He is in a dangerous position with that yellow being exposed like that. Maeve could just potentially get a one chain and block him off for good, but Mr. T-Spin opts to block himself off instead, and Maeve could just get the chain right here, but opts to not do that either. Okay, interesting decision from Mr. T-Spin to willingly not put his yellows together to clear his GTR. And Maeve just didn't take that opportunity to just punish him for it. Something a lot of the players really do here is they just miss ample opportunities like that. So they don't see it in time or in battle, so they just kind of flounder. But that is going to be a 4-4 of both players here. So Mr. T-Spin needs to be careful of those misdrops / misplays that he's doing, and Maeve really just needs to take advantage of when Mr. T-Spin does that, so that way he can actually get more off of him. Some cleanup action from Mr. T-Spin here. Maeve does have an interesting setup here. It's going to be a 3-chain. And Mr. T-Spin opts to not defend that. Okay, he didn't opt to defend that. Not sure why he could have just at least mitigated the garbage there. It probably wouldn't have, like, you know, done anything, but it would have made it a lot more favorable for him. But regardless, that's going to be Maeve's 5th point here, halfway to for the win here. But Mr. T-Spin's keeping it really close here. Okay, Maeve using a double greens for the GTR here to make sure that's all complete. Interesting way to use those purples. Not exactly wrong, but not exactly a common strategy, I would say. Since Maeve is really far ahead, he's going to just go ahead and launch his 6th chain. Mr. T-Spin seems to keep dawdling a little bit, especially if you're doing those little more color required transitions. You don't want to do that for too long, because if you commit to one color and you're struggling to get it, you will be punished, as we've seen here from Maeve. But excellent work for them to catch you on that. Let's see, a little bit of a taller transition from Maeve over here. Not the most ideal setup in the world, especially since you're going to be using you're breaking off part of your GTR right now, Maeve, just to extend, but those blues are not going to cut it for you. It's going to be, we're talking only a 4th chain rather than a potential, I want to say 6 or 7, maybe 8 if you get the purples together, but it didn't really matter if Miss T-Spin didn't catch on to that in general, so good stuff regardless. 3 more points for Maeve, and Maeve has this in the bag. Mr. T-Spin still has some ways to go, but, you know, he has proven to be kind of a tough opponent for Maeve to kind of get the handle on consistently. Maybe next time it'll be a little bit more of a chaining battle here. Mr. T-Spin opting to launch a 6 chain to Maeve's only 5 chain here, though, so Maeve will actually be the one at a disadvantage here, and Mr. T-Spin is going to have to just try to finish it here, or get a little bit greedy with the setup here. Gonna be some garbage on Mr. T-Spin's side. Not opting to use the blues on column 3, which would have connected with the rest of the chain and given a higher chances of survival here. But a 4 chain will seal your victory right there. Bring the scores up to closing the gap here at 5-7. Still in May's favor though. This T-Spin seems to have gained some adaptation cogs going on here. But can he keep his chains up so we can actually make good use of them? That GTR is going to be a little bit weird to work around, but we'll have to connect the reds together. Not impossible, but those reds are going to have to connect if you want those yellows to connect at the end there. But I don't see any more reds that you can be using. You might not want to block that off though, but you just need 1 red. But settles for a 3-chain harassment. Poorly timed, however, since Maeve did get the pieces that they needed. And that transition was already doomed to begin with, it seems. It's going to be Maeve's 8th point here. 2 more and Maeve will be our Iron Bracket winner here. Okay. Excellent 1 chain from Maeve here. Again with Mr. T-Spin blocking off his GTR just to build off of it and not seeing any prices out to pay afterwards. So if Maeve looks at that and sees, yeah, you're not ready for this, sends you a 2 chain, which they could do right now, but chose not to. Mercy plays will be noticed here. Not able to find the blue in time to actually punish Mr. T-Spin there. Well, okay, Maeve, you gotta look out here. Mr. T-Spin does lock himself out pretty consistently, so if you just spot it, then I'm sure you can punish him for it. He could be punished right now with the lack of reds. And all the reds that he got just aren't being used for GTR, just to attack Maeve here, which does seem to be working on his favor, but might not want to stick onto that for very much longer, especially if Maeve just gets lucky. Has the piece to really set off their GTR here, but opts to actually cut it off in favor of a clean state of it. So Maeve will be in a little bit of more trouble here. Okay, see a bit of a 3-chain going on for Mr. T-Spin here, putting Maeve back up to the X where they want to be, Mr. T-Spin. But of course, Maeve is doing a little bit of excavation here. Still strong as ever. Nice 3-chain from Mr. T-Spin here. It's gonna lock Maeve out of their chain still, but definitely not out of it. If Maeve can just figure out to just stack a little bit taller to get more garbage, they could take this in the bag, but unfortunately, Maeve won't be having the room to actually make this next chain unless they kickflip that. No. Mr. T-Spin has closed the gap with a 7-8 here, though. Both opponents just at least 3 points away from taking home this grand finals of the Iron Bracket here. Mr. T-Spin once again putting himself at a greater or disadvantage with having the purples stuck over there alone and choosing not to use the purples to actually set up to get the chain finished. But in fact get his next piece in time to at least defend some of it, but not enough time to fix all of it. Mr. T-Spin's really going to have to not make a habit of that, otherwise he's not going to be seeing much progress going on here. But this is going to be Maeve's final tournament point here. If Maeve wins, he will be our he'll be our winner of the Iron Bracket here. Mr. T-Spin's really going to have to pick up the pace here. Now that he knows that he's on tournament point here, he is going to be taking a little bit more advantage of making sure his transition / GTR is going to be more on point than usual. Nice choice of actually getting the GTR off, because Maeve does not have the yellows to really tail those yellows, so he's going to be down another point here. Now if he's going to do that 2 more times, he can take home the gold here. The gold of the Iron Bracket, by the way. This is this is low level Puyo as we speak, and I'm here for it all the time. Okay, Mr. T-Spin's GTR seems a little bit more ready than usual, but Maeve is going to be challenging that with his own chain. But she does seem to be getting some blues though. A bit of a blue drop going on there, and that blue drop will be enough to seal Maeve's victory here. Very solid run for Mr. T-Spin here, as he takes home second place, and honorary mentions to Sal, who got third place in this bracket. I couldn't get any of their matches because I couldn't get their matches, but all in all, great stuff to the iron bracket, and I will see you guys for the silver bracket. Or sorry, bronze bracket is next.